All right, so it's 8:14 p.m. It is I was going to say August. It's not even August. It's September 6th, for God's sake, and it happens to be Friday night. So I'm making this video and I'm just kind of relaxing in my room. I will say today was one of those days where I had a really slow start. I wasn't feeling very good today. I think it was a lot of me thinking about, all the topics that I was discussing in the last few days about the Armageddon thing and being freaked out about, even being brought into all of this. And the impact of it is just like, I can't help but feel, you know, um, like my mood's going to be fluctuating a lot. And so, of course, I do things to try to uplift myself, which is very important. But it did, give me the time to put things into perspective. Now, I think that this issue is very serious, and I think a lot of people are starting to see why it's a very serious issue. And I don't want to go, I don't want to sit here and start naming names because I think it's deeper than that. And the sad part is that a lot of people who were a part of this didn't realize exactly how important it was uh, to understand things like laws and human rights and the guidelines that were established in this country. And this is what allowed this to happen. Okay. Now I know that there was a lot of attacking me, and I was very bewildered by the entire thing. Um, but I've been really thinking a lot about it, and I want people to understand where I'm coming from. Okay. Because for the longest time, my voice was silenced. Sure, I got to make videos. Okay. But everyone saw me at the instructions of a religious, heated debate cabal, that when you dissect this cabal, who is involved, and I'm referring to the main ringleaders, those who came from a particular bloodline in England, the royals, and then also, encouraging what I'm going to say, bits and broken, weird, bizarre family. Everyone knows that I'm a clone, so I was raised with an adoptive family, and as well as a mother who gave birth to me, who was a celebrity. Um, what's normal to a lot of these people who are involved in these sort of secret societies is like so bizarre to me. Okay, because I believe that I believe in natural birth. I believe in love, first of all. I believe in things that make one human. And the problem with it is that this was an issue of cloning and an issue of like someone trying to exert their power over me. And I was in a constant cycle of being accused of being rebellious when I was really actually puzzled as to why my rights were being trampled on um, as an American citizen. Now, I have been writing down some things that I was thinking about because I think that's best for me. I'm letting you guys know that I'm only gonna be making videos like for Monday Merriment on Mondays, and then like every once in a while, if I come up with something clever or something that I just can't wait. Sometimes I come up with these ideas, and I can't hold it inside of myself. You know what I mean? I'm somebody who innovates. I'm constantly thinking of stuff. And see, living in a country where I believe that, we have opportunities here. Like, I used to believe that people could be discovered, meaning if you had talents, if you had skills, if you had things, contributions, you can get them published, you can do things with it, you can grow outside of the 9 to 5. And maybe it's just because I'm a targeted individual, but I have sensed that I have been blocked, and not just me, a lot of other people have been blocked from pursuing their real dreams. Okay, and so this is just one of the many reasons why I look at this Earth, this platform, as hell. Okay, because we deal with a lot of suffering, and for people such as myself who I'm a unique individual. Okay. Take aside from, well, okay, the reason why I'm a genius is because I'm of royal ancestry. I'm of the Egyptian line. Okay. And the reason why I had faced a lot of opposition is because I was being targeted for my bloodline. Now we know the originators of the originators of my targeting comes back, and I mean goes back to England, right? Okay, with a royal lineage. And so I wanted to go into a little bit more about how this happened, and I'm putting it together. Like, I'm realizing how all of this like comes together. Based off, my previous lives where I was living as a cloned individual. I had come to realize that Prince Alamehu was cloned. And then I realized my life here in the United States is C.B. Berganza and the whole thing. Okay. You come to these, you start putting things together. And of course, somebody like myself who even though I'm somebody who studies the occult, when it comes to things like, demiurge, when it comes to clones and stuff like that, that to me is just a little too weird. It's a little too weird for me. Okay, it's very strange. And so, I remember reading about it, and now that I've come to the realization that, I am a clone myself, I will say that I love the fact that I am Prince Alamehu. I love the fact, and I love him, absolutely love this man as C.B. Berganza. Like, I seriously kept thinking, C.B. Berganza is so cool to me. Like, when I think of him and how he presented himself, how he dressed, his mannerisms, I look at him and I see me. I see me as the present person. I think, and I just constantly, feel and think of him in my mind and my heart. But I realized what the cloning program was, okay? Based on the information that I had gathered before I even realized I was a clone myself. I had read, me, I read into topics, and like I said, to me it was just like food for thought. But see, when you acquire knowledge, it's situations like these when you start putting all the pieces together. This is what I'm talking about: knowledge, being able to recognize certain situations and seeing where things apply. Okay, and I think most people know that I've studied the Bible and all this other stuff, so I understood. Now, I am very disappointed. I want to go back to my disappointment about the whole issue about my dream, my vision of free enterprise, because I was, disappointed about that. I was disappointed about, like, for example, me attempting to go on, oh, what was that? Patreon. That was the first one. The second one, I went on Ko-fi, and those were blocked. Okay, and then it seemed as though anytime I was able, any possibility I had for anything was to have some sort of merger, some sort of, what do you call it, kingdom spouse or the religion thing, all of it. Okay, and literally it just killed every bit of happiness, and it kills and destroys, people. There's I'm thinking the name of the song. I think it's Ruby Tuesday by the Rolling Stones, where he talks about lose your dreams and you will lose your mind. That one part is so true, because if you are somebody who has like this extreme passion for constantly making things, and you find out that the only thing you're ever going to be is a worker, maybe, okay, like, because you get fucked over by employers all the time, and the stupid game playing that they made and put into place because of this religious war that nobody wanted to play. Okay, but it seems as though when you look at it from someone from my perspective. Now, I remember the good old days of school. I remember sitting in the classroom and hearing the teacher say, America is a land of opportunity. I'm sorry, but as an adult, I'm coming to find out, even for white folks, it really isn't. Okay, and so this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Okay, is that I love this country because I live here. Okay, and I mentioned, when it comes to things like war, you want to fight for a country that's worth fighting for. Now, I basically got attacked. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, when it comes to this royal attack that occurred, this is a very spiritual thing to me. One that almost made me feel like like it's deep. Okay, for me to go through years and years and years of abuse, to be run out of institutions, to not be able to have a strong footing in a family, to have any sort of place to go, to ever have any sort of support, knowing that this was some sort of attack because somebody wanted me to bow down and recognize the monarchy. Okay? Now, I'm from my own royal lineage, okay, and I live in a country that is not supposed to be associated with that system at all, and I'm sitting here having my back pressed to the wall. Now, a lot of people who were a part of this went around and they complied with it because they didn't think anything of it. The sad part is that there were people here in our system of government who went along with it, okay? So this shows that there's a problem. Government needs to be airtight. Okay, and I'm saying this, like, I'm letting people know, like, all the people who are running for president, senators, want all this other stuff. I want peace, okay? All I'm saying is, this is the way it is, okay? Now, I am somebody who has been affected and has lived a life of solitude, okay? Away from most people, but I will tell you, I did so in peace. I've never raised a ruckus, I never caused any problems, which I think everybody knows this, okay? But this was wrong, okay? This whole thing was wrong. But it is disappointing. And so my thing is that, I understand we went through something very bad. Something very bad. I mean, I lived through terror. What took place here was a form of terrorism. It's terrorism. It is terrorism to inflict religious doctrine and try to enforce that on another person. And see, the thing is that everybody followed their orders. Everybody followed their orders. Okay? And the problem was they didn't have to. They had the power and the right to say, no, we will not comply. But see, when it came to, I want to talk a little bit more about the reason why I choose to release this feeling of hatred for the royals. Why do I feel I need to do this? Is because a few nights ago I had mentioned that we are clones, okay? We're clones. We're clones of bloodlines, of royal people, okay, of special people, okay? And the thing is that, the idea, it's called the divine right to rule, okay? This is what a lot of royal people believe, that they have the divine right to rule. And I would say that when you look at people who have royal traits within all royal groups of people all over the world, okay, the reason why we get attacked is because we're strong. We're strong individuals. But the thing is that the royal family thought that we were interested in dueling, battling over it. And also, the royal family did not understand rulership, the kind of rulership that people need. Okay? Some people think, that kid on The Simpsons? Like, every time something messed up happens to other kids, the kid's pointing at him, he's like, ha ha! You're that kid. Every time I see him on The Simpsons, I laugh, right? Because he is the kind of person who thinks it's okay or feels more powerful, who associates power of, let me take it all. Okay? Let me take it all and belittle those who don't have anything. To them, that's power. That's rulership. This is what they thought it was supposed to be. Power is not that. That's not the kind of power that God wants. Okay? Which they ended up finding out too late. That is not the kind of power that God wants. Okay? Power means it's like you are in a position of, if you're in a position of authority and these people who are underneath you are not, it is your responsibility to spread out your wings and listen to what the people want and what they need, to take care of their needs. It is what it is, okay? And this is my spiritual message, okay? Now, why do I forgive the royal family? I'm going to tell you why. Because these people were cloned, okay? And they were simply just following the order of the original person or group of people who put this whole thing in place. Now, did they enjoy the suffering that they may have caused? I'm going to say they probably did, okay? But they were also encouraged to, and I will tell you, every job that I went to, because the demiurge was in these people just as much it was in the royal family. When I go into a business and start a new job, I have people messing with me, and I could tell that look of schadenfreude that would come over their face. That look of, oh, I'm so happy I can sit here and bully you, and they felt justified to do it. Okay, they were enacting terrorism all the way down centuries ago. from what happened with this need of merging forces with something dark. Okay? Now, do I believe that these people are in heaven now? I'm going to tell you, I've been doing a lot of spiritual work, and I've got something I want to talk about on Monday Merriment that I think is food for thought, but I'm going to save it for that. Okay? But do I believe they are? There are different levels of heaven, but I will tell you they are at peace. They are at peace. Okay? And I will tell you that um, uh, when it comes to serving the monarch, this is not something that they really truly wanted to do. They did and they didn't. You know, people want to be able to have, gosh, they want to be able to, just like, you know, sometimes there's certain things that you don't want to do at work. Like there's certain tasks that you don't want to do, but you want to feel a sense of accomplishment that you do it, right? Same thing. Okay, there was, I'm sure they had certain things that they wanted to do and be happy and make their own decisions, but they always had that. It was always, you know, the monarch. And don't get me wrong, people have to have something to live for, but at the same time, it's like, it shouldn't be, to me, anything above following the regular guidelines of things like the laws here, okay, to me is just, if you're asking too much. This is exactly the reason why the United States established themselves separately from England, because that sort of control was excessive. Okay, now I know that I was bashed, belittled, mocked, torn down multiple times, okay, because of my views that I expressed on my channel. Okay, by the way, I'm up to 1,500 videos. Okay, but when I first started making these videos, this is exactly what I was saying. I mentioned the religious aspect of it, and I mentioned the legalities of it. It was ignored. Okay, and I understand why it was ignored. You know why? Because they're like, but dude, I know what people are thinking, but dude, this is so and so. That's different. This is, you know, this is different, but this person's involved. Exactly. Exactly. This is why I have 600 something subscribers, and these people have uploaded my videos to something else. And this is the reason why I got, you know, I was not able to flourish and do everything else. It was a very serious issue, okay? And it was a very wrong issue, okay? But now people understand this, okay? Here's my message I wanted to go through is that, you know what? Like I said, you know, I remember I had mentioned before, I was never somebody who was like, you know, drawn or fascinated by that particular family. I knew who they were when I was younger, but I will say this. I always felt as though when I looked at them that they were deprived in many ways. That's how I looked at it. Because uh, of their inability to have any sort of sense of self. Any sort of sense of self, okay? To me, I felt sorry for them. And it didn't matter if they had some of the nicest English tea sets and the finest china and they had the best clothes or they had whatever. Or they got to ride in a horse or buggy or whatever. Whatever they had, okay? And, you know, to me, it was just like, what difference does it make if you can't feel free? You can't feel free. So, now, freedom in heaven. Okay, so everyone knows that, you know, I know there's been a lot of talk about, you know, me and my father. We are the soul travelers, you know, and this is a big issue. This is the reason why they came for me in the first place, okay? We are of the Egyptian line, and it seems as though every single life that we did live, at least the ones that I know of, okay, we've always been very independent, and we've done everything we could to not step into that realm of Christianity. Okay. Now, like I said, when I was a kid, I studied Jehovah's Witness as Maria Gordon. Okay, because I didn't realize that I was C.B. Briganza. Like, if you're reincarnated, whether you're birth reincarnated or you're reincarnated through cloning, you have no idea who you are. I mean, some kids do. Like, there was this one kid who said he even knew his name. Okay, I was not like that. I didn't have any flashbacks of anything, but I did have hobbies, I had talents, and I always had this weird connection to the supernatural. Okay? But, you know, as far as C.B. Briganza, Egyptian, Ethiopian, any of that kind of stuff, no, I really, no. That came later in life, which that was revealed last fall. Okay, so it's been about a year since I've known. My father was a target as well through royal bloodline targeting. And, you know, unfortunately, he he was, you know, he was beaten. What I'm saying beaten is that, uh, they eventually got him. And by the time he died, he was unrecognizable. Okay? Very ruthless, okay? And this is something that they wanted to do. They wanted to win at any cost, okay? Because it was also associated with Nazism. Uh, Now, this particular family has had their run-ins and associations with Nazism before. You know what I mean? I would say, like, I'm trying to think what year. I'm going to say around 30s and 40s. You could probably do some research online or whatever and see photos and stuff. But yeah, they've always had some sort of association with it. I know that they have German ancestry and whatever. But the thing is that people want to be the greatest. They want to have power, and they want to be in a position of authority. And some people misuse that authority. And unfortunately, when you bring God into situations like that, there's going to be repercussions, spiritual repercussions, and this is the result of that. Now, I know that I live in a community that is not used to seeing somebody who is an independent thinker. I am an independent thinker. Okay. Why? Because based on the situations that I've lived throughout my life, I've had no choice but to formulate my own opinions. Okay. And I had mentioned that I am a philosopher among a bunch of different other things, and I know that people were scoffing at me about that too. I will say that I got very tired of being an object of abuse from these powerful people. Okay, and what they were not used to is somebody who was well equipped with answers. And what they were not used to was the idea that somebody like myself, okay, could even be able to understand that there was some sort of plot like that, because it was supposed to be covert, right? Okay, the thing is that I understand stuff that a lot of people don't even think about. I am somebody who cannot be brainwashed. Okay, I'm somebody who is very open-minded, and I read. And there's a lot of times when you talk about people who are open-minded. I know when I remember I had a conversation with somebody, and people used to look at that as it was a bad thing. Oh, she's open-minded. You know why? Because they're afraid that I don't know why they're afraid. Why they're afraid. But see, the thing is that if I wasn't open-minded, I would have been blinded. I would have been blinded. And I would have fell into a trap. Now, there's a lot of people who would have wanted me to fall into that trap, because I dealt with a lot of hatred. And even still, to this day, where people know good and well my father was innocent, they know good and well that the monarchy people, they got what they deserved. They know good and well that their religion was way out of line. They know it was wrong, period. Okay, but do you think I don't have to deal with bloodthirsty people? I haven't dealt with any, but I'm sure they exist. I haven't seen any, but I'm sure they exist. Okay? Because there's just some people who are just really unhappy with their lives, and they're willing to attack. But deep down inside, they know good and well they have nothing to say about me. Okay? This was all brought on by outside forces, and beyond my control. And I can assure you that I would have never asked for something like this. Ever. Okay? Okay, so, but what it is that, I'm an independent thinker. I'm somebody who's dealt with things that was, outside of the norm, and I had to figure things out. You know what I mean? And yeah, I'm somebody I do a lot of research. I take my research very seriously, and I don't fit inside the box. And see, I do know that there was a lot of pressure for me to get married, to fit into the role of a typical woman, blah, 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 blah. Okay, but I am somebody who has been chased by the Illuminati for longer than I even thought. And yeah, I'm going to use that word. Why? I mean, I may be improper because, but when I say the Illuminati, I'm going to talk about people who are in positions of power in our little secret societies. Okay? Which infiltrates, religion. And this is a big problem, because religion should have never infiltrated our government. Okay? And see, like I said, I know these things, whereas other people don't. I'm doing a video on autodidacts, and I was working on it today. This is like a 4-part series is what I'm doing, and I'll go into it later, but people thought that I was dumb, okay? And this is the part that they thought I was dumb when I was growing up, okay? And then they realize now that the reasons why I could not be in the same spot with them, the reason why I left that job, the reason why I ran away from school, the reason why I did these things is because of them. Okay? I got receipts. Okay? And this, it shocks me and it disturbs me, and I still to this day have flashbacks. Okay? Of having to deal with bullies. Okay? So, um, when they came to the realization that they were in the wrong, that was deep, okay? But it was humility as well. Okay, so I had mentioned that now, I grew up reading the Bible. I grew up studying with Jehovah's Witnesses. I did, of course, independent Bible study, meaning when I started off reading the Bible, I used to read it with Bible aids, okay? When you're associating with Jehovah's Witnesses, they want you to read the Bible, but they want you to read their publications first and then reference the Bible scriptures. This is a reason why, the reason why is because they can explain it and interpret the Bible a certain way for you to be indoctrinated in their learning, okay? Okay, and I read their material, but I also want to do my own individual research. And I also use different Bibles besides the Watchtower, the one published by Watchtower Society, okay? And when I've had these little suspicions about, orchestrated events. I remember mentioning a few days ago about, him being a clone and, them inducing the labor to make sure he was born on a certain day. So, but the thing is that I know that these spawns or these people in positions of power have somehow played a game of... See, I'm never talking about demiurge energy. The demiurge do foolish things. Foolish, weird shit, like it's obvious and creepy. Like, the fact that you can go to Sedona, Arizona, and see these, Egyptian figures chopped into this rock, and then act as if, all this history can only be associated or attributed to another race. That's just one of the examples, okay? And you're like, man, you'd actually try to flip the script like that, and it's like, yeah, they would try to, and it seems silly because I did something similar like that in a school setting or something like that. Like, I slipped my homework in for somebody else's homework. They'd be like, man, what's wrong with you? You're silly, right? That's silly. But they went through that far and knew that. Okay? That's why I feel as though, for a long time, I believe here on the earth we've had a very strange demonic energy that influenced not only the people who were of that generation when it first got unleashed, but it trickled down to the rest of society through things like churches. I'm not saying churches need to close or anything. I'm just saying is that, they talk about false doctrine and stuff like that. Look how many women were destroyed in this. Look how many women were destroyed in this. I will tell you, this situation is very harmful to women, and especially women who are like me. Women who've been abused and we're trying to run away from abuse, and they're trying to put you right back into another abusive situation. And see, why I had an issue with this particular royal family is because of, and there's nothing wrong with tradition. I will tell you, because I never had a real family, I would have loved to have had established little traditions. Those little cute little things that you do ritualistically together, like, going on to having like little holiday celebrations and stuff like that. I wish I had that. But their tradition of believing in the role of a woman is outdated. Okay? And they've been following the same stuff year after year after year after year after year. Consistently. So here we are in like the 2000s, and this man who's a prince thinks and sees the world the same way that they did hundreds of years ago. And they're going to come at you with that same mentality. That's scary. Very scary. Okay? So no, I mean, to me, there's a limit on tradition. For me, okay? And like I said, traditions can be very beautiful, but some traditions can be very, very scary. So you have to, evaluate what is good and what you can let go. So yeah, I believe that the Bible, now I'm starting to see that the Bible, and the Bible has been used for a lot of different things. There's some, I know in early America, like in the yeah, in early America, when blacks could, read, they used to, based on history, like some blacks, it was illegal for black people to read. Okay, they made it illegal for black people to read because if you're able to read, you're able to do anything. If you could, that's the key, right? So that's why they made it illegal. You can't read, but there were some people who thought that was unfair, and they were able to teach black people to read. And the black people who could read would use the Bible, and then they would use it for specific purposes, like referencing it and being able to even conjure using the Bible as a reference. So some people have used it for that. I'm not saying the Bible is completely weird, but do I believe it when it comes to this issue of bloodlines, the war, I'm suspecting that the Bible is written and inspired by other holy books, because it seems as though this group of people like to rip off people's culture and then like attribute it to themselves. So this is what I'm thinking, okay? So there's a little bit of that mixture. There's a little bit of just weird, bizarre, let me throw in the occultic, strange Freemason stuff that doesn't really make any sense. Because, sometimes you read the Bible and you're like, man, whose side are you on? Because the angle that you're coming at, I don't know if you're on the side of the devil, you're side of who, what are you doing? Okay? There's a lot of cryptic stuff in the Bible, right? But when I think about the bloodline thing, okay, the bloodline is the idea of like making yourself superior and some sort of superiority, fight for superiority or whatever. I don't believe, maybe there were people who enjoyed dueling with this particular bloodline family. There might have been some, but I will tell you, there's nothing in me that likes dueling. Nothing. You know what I mean? But I will tell you, I'm the best fighter and I'm the best strategist you could ever imagine. You know what I mean? If we, I understand things like strategy of war and all this. People look at me, they think, oh, she's a small little girl. She don't know anything. You'd be surprised what I know. Okay? I really. Okay? This is one of the reasons why I figured all this stuff out. But yes, I believe that the Bible is a playbook for the Illuminati. Okay, so and yes, I do believe that these people made it into heaven, because let me tell you something. I think these people came to the realization that they were following something that they shouldn't. It's like some people, just like this community who got involved in it, or some people in Lancaster, or people who watch my channel, or whoever. Okay, same thing. Okay, these people were just following orders. A lot of people don't think about religion. They don't think about morals. They don't think about the right and wrong. They know that if somebody in a position of power is doing it, they think it's okay that they can do it too. And then there are some people who have that malicious intent who do it anyway. Okay? But when it comes to like this particular family, I really do think that, yeah, they couldn't help but to be a little bit crooked, but they were following orders. And on top of that, they were created for this reason, specifically for that reason. So as a clone, from one clone to another, I understand not so much their willingness to follow orders, because I'm somebody who questions everything, okay? But I understand that they were somebody who always had to respect duties. They were taught from the very get-go to be in line with the monarchy, period. You know what I mean? Before their own needs. So that is what it is. So anyway, also, I had talked about, the issue of the Cabbage Patch Kids, the cloning and stuff like that. And yeah, only thing I'm starting to I've read in the past that I've read as my little side piece genre, the stuff that I would like, get all giddy about when I'd lay it in bed and read, for entertainment. I'm starting to see this stuff applies. I see where it applies. This is how I was able to put it together. You know what I mean? I enjoy learning. And I am somebody who cares deeply about my projects. And like I said, the sad part about it is the fact that I'm somebody who is passionate about innovation. And I live in a world where it's just like, I feel like I hit that brick wall all the time. Like I can create anything out of like nothing. And I have a fun time doing it, okay? And I love it. But unfortunately, it doesn't bring any monetary rewards. Okay, unless of course you're going to sit here and work for a 9 to 5, and I guess that's the only way it is. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people complain about it, and why people feel like their life is just sitting here on this hamster wheel. The hamster wheel is painful, I will tell you, very painful. Painful. Okay. We already talked about that. I do know that the universal forces, God, whoever, however you want to view God, okay? Now, like I said, I've had an aversion to the word or the title God, not because God is not an appropriate title to use. It's just that I have dealt with so many religious hypocrites all my life who use the name God. And because they use it and they sit there and they screw up and they do all kinds of evil things in the name of God, I try to use other terms for God. Okay? Because it's like, oh, but you know what I'm talking about, the same thing. Okay? When I say universal forces, it doesn't matter how you see God, because nobody knows what God looks like. It's that force, it's that power. Okay? But they saw that it was necessary to kill a bunch of Nazis. Okay? And everyone knows what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Armageddon that we just lived through. Okay? And it's unfortunate, and I think this is a lesson. Okay? This is what I was trying to say from the very beginning. Okay, mind control is very serious. Okay, the reason why that was God dang it, how I even exist was through mind control. I was dealing with this whole issue of being targeted when I was living in Lancaster, California as a child, and I was living in a mind control environment. Mind control, my mother was mind controlled. Okay, she's going to sit here and disrespect my father. My father's putting a roof over her head, but you know, she's going to be mind controlled. She'll talk to other people about it, and whatever. I mean, that family setup was ridiculous. Okay, and then you got people in the neighborhood, then you got agents and stuff like that putting bugs in kids' ears to bully me. Okay, why? Because of some sort of bloodline targeting thing that I couldn't even possibly understand, nor do I even care about. But I understand my father at that time, you know, he was working for NASA, and my father was somebody who was kind of like me, somebody who was highlighted, people who knew who he was, and you know, as a black person with godlike powers, people were intimidated. But I can assure you, you know, I'm not somebody who has ever tried to hurt people. But I do end up intimidating a lot of white people because they're not used to seeing people of color with my intelligence. It blows them away. And I will tell you, you know, I get a lot of people who want to compete with me, and I'm not a competitor. I'm not a competitor. Okay? Look what happened with these people over here in England who are trying to mess with me. It's tragic. Okay? I can sit here and jump up and down and bridle all day if I wanted to. I'm just like, you know what? I just want it to be over with. I do. Okay? I'm not somebody who is a people pleaser. I'm not somebody who wants to do everything for the sake of getting attention. I will tell you that I feel as though my work is something that I'm very passionate about. I'm very passionate about my philosophy. I'm very passionate about my views. I'm very passionate about all of my creations. I'm passionate about food magic. I'm passionate about, especially, did you see my food magic video? I love my last one that I made. You know, I was hoping that people would actually buy that little waffle maker and make houses. Okay, I'm somebody who's constantly making up stuff, okay? And it's like, I feel, you know, I've always wanted to work and do powerful projects with other people. And I'm wondering, okay, well, if I do these powerful projects, and, you know, I guess some of it could be worked out in the workplace, but, you know, I was thinking a lot about the reformation of America, right? The reason why I say the reformation of America, we just experienced like a form of Armageddon. Okay, we did. All right. And I was thinking, okay, the root of this problem is that we do live in ignorance. We live in ignorance. Okay, so to rebuild society, things need to be if there is going to be a new Earth, society is going to need to be rebuilt. Okay, seriously, because I'm thinking, okay, population, people really aren't interested in mingling right now. I want to tell you, I'm out of the game. I'm not interested in getting married. I certainly ain't getting pregnant, okay? But other people are going to have to in order to keep the earth thriving, okay? And I'm saying is that there's still a lot of social distancing.
And I understand that some people think that I'm one who's responsible for talking about why I don't get married. Okay, I'm not getting married. But for some people, I have never said don't get married. But I'm just saying is if you are going to get married and have children, you should know what you're getting into. Okay, but there's going to have to be changes with that. There's also going to have to be, to me, if America is going to ever progress above the state that they're in. America's in a depraved state. Sorry, I hate to say it, but it's true. Okay, if we can let international influence come in, attack our government without question, we have a problem. And then I'm getting attacked for being uneducated. Come on now. Okay, I'm sorry. And no offense to any of the people up there, okay? Because like I said, I'm saying this and being friendly. It's Friday night. Let's just be cool, okay? And I'm not trying to offend anybody, but that's the way it is, okay? America needs to be rebuilt, and it needs to be rebuilt with people who understand how to treat each other. It needs to be rebuilt in a way where people are focused on their own lives, and they need to find some sort of contentment with it. Okay, contentment, the highest level of life existence that one could possibly have is what people should be feeling like they're entitled to. Okay, now sadly, I know that we usually get stuck with the 9 to 5. Well, then let's make the 9 to 5 better. Make the 9 to 5 arena better. You know what I mean? This is one of the reasons why I talk about positive things, loving yourself and stuff like that, because if, I'm not getting cloned again. Okay, this is my last journey. Okay, I'm done. But while I'm here, I feel as though, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I lived through, and I do have things that I choose to leave on the earth. Like I choose to leave some of my working. I want my work to be on the earth when I leave, in some way. Okay, and I'm very passionate. This is one of the reasons why I make this one, so I manifest it. So, yeah, I talked about reorganizing the education system. And I did, like today and yesterday and today, okay? I spent a little time, looking at different curriculums. I'm going all the way back, starting all the way back. And then I'm also formulating what I think, things that relate to human behavior. Okay? This generation that's left right here is still in a state of not knowing. Okay? So how are they going to teach their kids? What are their kids? How are their kids going to behave? You know what I mean? We can't repeat the same stuff. It's got to get better. Okay, if people are going to be able to elevate themselves to have lives that are worth living, because I'm going to be honest with you, no, it's not. Okay, it really isn't. Okay, so if they're going to have to want to improve their lives to where things are worth living for, the country is worth fighting for if we had to. Okay, we don't have to feel like any conflict if somebody gets asked to go to war. It's an absolute yes because you love your country that much. This is the problem. Okay, this is the reason why I'm the weirdo who hangs out in my house all the time and want to be as far away from the rest of the world because I'm tired of the brainwashing. I'm tired of people who, who think it's okay to walk around in an ignorant state. And the saddest part is that there is no hope. Meaning like, okay, nothing any more exciting than the 9 to 5. Ha! That's horrible, right? So I try to be as positive as I possibly can. And yes, when it comes to the education system, yeah, I was looking over the curriculum and thinking, okay, rearrange this, incorporate. I'm looking and picking things apart because I do believe that the education system is, I'm not criticizing it all, okay? I'm not criticizing it all. But I'm saying is that I believe we should strive to have the best possible life and the best possible existence we possibly can here on Earth. Okay, so there's certain things that we need to do and be taught in the school system as well as at home, in order for the society to be better. So yeah, look for that. And it's going to take me a while, okay, because I'm going through all these different curriculums and I'm trying to figure out, okay, should I just briefly describe the curriculum and just give like one example? Like, for example, if you wanted to be a dentist, how many years of schooling do you need? What do you need? And I was sitting here looking at this like, okay, you could eliminate that right there because they already had this in high school. Seriously, I'm like, okay, why do you need this again? And there might be some things that you might have to chip it down until you figure out exactly what needs to be taught to be a dentist. Now, I know that's not to say that I'm going to sit here and make these suggestions and people are going to follow it. I'm just letting people know what a waste of time that their energy has been focused on. Okay?
And also, you have to consider the fact that, you can sit here and have this huge course, but you're only going to be able to retain so much in your memory. So the working knowledge is the most important. Okay, the things that you're going to be doing repetitively, and then have things that you do like on occasion, like for example, I don't know, like root canals, okay? You can understand those, and they certainly need to be practiced, but you should also have reference material at your side. Things do not have to be the way that they are. They shouldn't be. Okay, and whether people implement my ideas or not, hey, you know what? Years later, people are gonna be like, "Damn, she told us so." I like my early morning esotericism visit. Can't talk right now. Early morning esotericism. I like that video. Okay, I liked it because I think breakfast food. I don't really eat breakfast food now so much as I did when I was a kid, right? But I think I always thought that was kind of fun. You know what I mean? I like the idea of the coffee, the juice, and all that stuff. See, I make a big deal out of everything because I try to make the best of life. And really, like I said, there's not much out of it. There's really not much to life. So you have to make a big deal out of everything. Okay? But I am sending that along with copies of my newsletters to certain employers. I have only done it. I resend the ones that they didn't respond, and I don't really expect some of them to respond because I feel as though some people are still holding resentments towards me. That's a possibility. But the thing is that they have no one to resent but themselves. Okay? And then I also am aware that there's going to be some people who just aren't simply going to like me. They just simply aren't. Okay? But I've dealt with racism before. Okay? And it's unfortunate that I was targeted and put in a situation where I was highlighted and exploited within a community, and then I'm expected to sit here and have to look for a job. You know what I mean? And I can't just do something independent to make my money. Okay? But that's life in the hell realm, right? So anyway, I know some people think that I would be interested in being a singer. I don't think so, mainly because of the industry and the corruption that goes on in it. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead. I think that's it. Oh yeah, the Swanska Manifesto is still in effect, meaning I'm going to be publishing, I call it publishing. I'm not really publishing anything, but I'm actually going to create the fourth quarter newsletter, and it will be available on October 1st. Usually I make it available the day before the actual month starts. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be adding more content to the Swan Song Manifest, meaning videos, depending if I go back to work or whatever. But I do know that a lot of my creations have not been benefiting me directly. Okay, and that's very frustrating. I also feel as though the compensation of all the abuse that I received, I feel as though the people who were in charge are not acting fast enough. I'm being very honest about it. I'm being very honest about it. I feel as though it's their responsibility. I know of the people here in this country, I do feel as though it's their responsibility to clear the air as much as they possibly can. I know people are not used to people like me being very direct, but I also know my rights. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I hope everyone has a wonderful Friday evening. Oh, wait a second. I'm getting a message, an intuitive message about my view on free enterprise. Yeah, it would be nice. Okay, it would be nice. I'm getting the mental issue that people are saying, why don't I sing for money? I don't think it works. I don't know how the music industry works really per se, and I don't have music equipment. I would have to have all that stuff, and I don't think that I would be able to do that. So anyway, back to the old drawing board, right? So, but that's life in the hell realm, and so I will be back with another video sometime later. Take care. Bye-bye.